Fame is a fickle beast, a double-edged sword that grants power but invites betrayal. Adrian Cross once stood as Hollywood's brightest star, an actor whose talent and charisma captured the hearts of millions. But the industry is ruthless, and friends can turn into foes in the blink of an eye. When Adrian finds himself at the heart of a scandal orchestrated by his closest friend, Victor Kane, his world collapses. Framed for a crime he didn't commit, abandoned by the industry that once adored him, Adrian is sentenced to years behind bars. Yet, prison does not break him. Instead, it fuels his hunger for retribution. Now, free and armed with a plan, Adrian embarks on a journey of vengeance, determined to reclaim what was stolen from him and bring Victor Kane to his knees. This is the tale of a man who lost everything but gained a singular purpose: the fall of the traitor who betrayed him. Adrian Cross was untouchable. He had worked tirelessly to reach the peak of Hollywood, starring in award-winning films, gracing the covers of magazines, and earning the respect of his peers. He had come from nothing, no family name, no connections, just raw talent and relentless ambition. But fame comes with enemies. It was at the height of his career, just after the premiere of his latest film, that his world came crashing down. As Adrian celebrated his success at an elite industry party, the police stormed in, flashing lights, the weight of their hands pinning him to the ground, accusations flying from their lips. His life unraveled in mere seconds. The charges? Sexual assault and bribery. The victim? A young actress who had been climbing the ranks. The evidence? Bank transfers, messages that bore his name, and her tearful confession. It was a lie, every word of it. Yet, the court of public opinion had no patience for truth. Within days, his contracts were canceled, his name dragged through the mud, and his once loyal friends abandoned him like a sinking ship. His best friend, Victor Kane, who had once stood beside him in every battle, was the first to distance himself. A trial followed. The prosecution painted him as a monster, the media sealed his fate, and the jury delivered the final blow: guilty. Sentenced to 12 years in prison, Adrian was escorted out of the courtroom in chains, the echoes of his own downfall ringing in his ears. And in the crowd, standing tall and untouchable, was Victor Kane, smirking as Adrian was led away. Prison was hell. The days were long, the nights longer. Adrian had been stripped of his wealth, his freedom, and his dignity. The world had moved on without him. Victor had taken his place, starring in the roles that had once belonged to him, walking red carpets with the same charm Adrian had once possessed. But Adrian was not broken. He spent his days training, strengthening his body and sharpening his mind. He studied law, corruption, and the psychology of manipulation. He learned patience. The kind of patience that only a man with nothing left to lose could master. And above all, he thought of Victor. His betrayal burned brighter than any prison light. He had orchestrated it all: the false accusations, the planted evidence, the bribes. Adrian had trusted him like a brother, and Victor had sold him to the wolves for a taste of power. 12 years had been reduced to 6 due to good behavior. But Adrian did not care about freedom. Not yet. He cared about revenge. Victor Kane had always lived in Adrian's shadow. They had risen through Hollywood together, 2 struggling actors clawing their way up. But where Adrian was talent and discipline, Victor was charm and cunning. He played the game better, networking with the right people, making himself indispensable to the industry. When Adrian had achieved superstardom, Victor had been left behind. A talented actor, yes, but not Adrian Cross. Never Adrian Cross. And Victor had hated him for it. So he waited. And when the moment came, he struck. Now, Victor was Hollywood's darling. the man who had denounced Adrian, the hero who had spoken against corruption. He had won the roles meant for Adrian, gained the wealth, the power, the life. But he had also made an enemy, and Adrian was coming for him. Adrian knew he couldn't rush. The world still believed him guilty. Victor was untouchable, shielded by power and influence. Adrian needed to dismantle him piece by piece. Step 1, gather allies. Step 2, expose the truth. Step 3, make Victor suffer. It wasn't just about proving his innocence. It was about making Victor feel every ounce of pain he had inflicted. It was about watching the world turn against him, the way it had turned against Adrian. And when Victor had lost everything, when he was nothing but a broken man begging for mercy, then, and only then, would Adrian strike the final blow. Adrian had always believed in justice, but justice had failed him. The system had failed him. Now, he wasn't seeking justice. He was seeking vengeance, but vengeance had a price. As he planned Victor's downfall, Adrian found himself questioning whether he was becoming the very monster the world had painted him to be. Was there a difference between him and Victor? If he took everything from his enemy, would he be satisfied, or would he lose himself in the process? But the thought of forgiveness was a bitter one. Victor had not only betrayed him, he had erased him, and Adrian would not let that stand. He would have his revenge, and he would make sure Victor never saw it coming.